Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Under the violent shaking, the leaves on the big trees fell rustlingly in the forest. 81 Chinese Network. It is daytime now. Above the sky, the dazzling sun rays sprinkled through the leaves, leaving round spots on the forest floor. But, because where Yibei is, there are not many big trees around, especially on the gravel with the shape of return. The sunlight is directly on it, and the gray-white stone reflects dazzling light. Snakes are cold-blooded animals. After the sun falls here, it can speed up the hatching of snake eggs. This is also one of the main reasons why reticulated pythons chose to lay eggs here. Wow! Booming! In the distance, various fierce vibrations continued. When Yibei's 45-meter-long gray-brown body lay entrenched on the broken stone, it would be difficult to see it from a distance if it was seen by the naked eye. Chi, the scarlet letter spit out. You can incubate the eggs with peace of mind. According to the degree, it only takes 5 days at most to hatch all the snake eggs. I don't want any accidents in this process. As for the mutant beasts, it has been delayed for nearly 10 days. It's time to solve it too. Their learning level and IQ are beyond my expectation. They reacted so quickly. Yibei's voice was cold. Swallow the 51 mutant beasts from him, and from stepping into the red zone, for the first time to breathe fire at those mutant beasts. It is destined to have the most intense battle against them one day. Several times before, they almost fought, and they were all saved, especially on the beach, when the mutant beasts, in order to protect themselves, gave him a large number of humans as tribute to Yibei to improve his strength. It can be delayed for 10 days. Let him Yibei. From the moment he entered the red zone, his body length was only a few meters, to 45 meters now. To be honest, Yibei was already very satisfied. Yes, King. There are 5 days left, enough? Don't worry, I have already felt the abnormal movement in the snake eggs, and the young snakes have begun to take shape. 9 pythons spoke up one after another. Yibei nodded. Wow. Then, the muscles on his body quickly contracted, and the huge body. As long as there is a little movement, the cracked stones underneath will make a rattling sound. However, Yibei's speed is very fast. In the blink of an eye, the body has moved down from the stone. Booming. But then, after Yibei fell on the ground, he waved the terrifying body in his mouth and pulled away from the corpses of some mutant beasts that had been hoarded on the ground. Every twitch, the corpse of a huge mutant beast made a rumbling sound. Yibei was extremely fast. Less than 3 seconds. The corpses of a large number of mutant beasts hoarded on the ground were all taken by him to the middle of the back shape. Chunhua Kuyu, having fun, Wang Wan, and 3 giant reticulated pythons, their eyes lit up after seeing the food flying over. In the past few days, they have been greedy for these mutant beasts for a long time. But without Yibei's order, they would definitely not dare to swallow it without authorization. You eat all of these first. 4 days ago, those 51 mutant beasts sent over. It should be enough for you to improve a lot of strength together. When I fight, it is inevitable that some mutant beasts will sneak over. I don't want any loss of young snakes, not even one. After the food was thrown in, Yibei's voice followed. Upon hearing this, the eyes of the pythons all lit up. Yes, King. Don't worry, King. Even if we die, we won't let the snake eggs suffer any damage. Click, click. Chi, Golyulu. While they were talking, their bodies moved cautiously, but when their heads got close to the food in them, they opened their mouths and swallowed them frantically, and their brutal and voices continued to resound in them. Roar. Watch these snakes eating. And with the swallowed food, it turns into energy, allowing their bodies to evolve quickly. Yibei was entangled on the ground, his body tilted slightly, his pitch-black eyes looked into the distance, and a tearing roar burst from his mouth. The sound resounded across the sky. Booming. In the distance, the mutant beasts were very fast, and when they were running, there were clouds of dust and leaves and sawdust behind them. Wow! However, when they heard the violent roar, they all stopped by coincidence. Fear spread madly in their minds. Before, All mutant beasts had seen Yi Bei's strength. As a snake, the flames that uttered fierce and most terrifying beasts came out from their mouths, greatly subverting their cognition. If it wasn't for feeling that their lives were threatened, these mutant beasts would not come over to trouble Yi Bei for anything. Roar. Huh. Wow. Furifer. After stopping, the beasts opened their mouths, and various sounds came from their mouths. The leader is the mutant Lion King, whose body is up to 5 meters tall, just standing there simply, like a hill. All the hair on the body is golden yellow, and it is very bright under the sun. The next ones are the Rhino King, Wolf King, Orangutan King. Each end is at least 5 meters up. It can be said that every mutant beast here will cause a huge sensation if it is discovered by humans. The natural barriers between races prevent them from communicating normally. However, through the sounds that came out, they could probably be able to let them know what the situation was. That is, these mutant beasts, no beast dared to step forward. They were all inspiring other races to let them go first look at the situation. Ho ho ho. The roar continued. In the end, seeing that no race came forward alone, these mutant beasts had no choice but to reach a final opinion. They took steps, slowed down. Step by step, he walked forward. Between the races, there is a balance. No one takes a step forward, no one falls behind. This spectacle of gathering of wild animals is absolutely incredible. Rushing. Pooh. Although every mutant beast tried to make his footsteps lighter, when the number reached a certain level, the vibration was still very intense, just like the entire island was trembling slightly. 1 meter, 10 meters, 100 meters, 1,000 meters. It took more than an hour for a distance of 1 kilometer. But, as time and distance continued to pass, when they entered the territory where Yi Bei was located, finally, after seeing the situation in front through the naked eye, they stopped again and did not dare to take even one step. Where the line of sight passes. That scene really shocked these mutant beasts. The dazzling sunlight fell from the sky, all scattered on the broken stone mountain. 81 Chinese Omeganet. The stone is silver gray. After the sun fell, the reflected light was like a diamond, looking very dazzling. Moreover, these stones form a square hill, which is more than 10 meters high. In the middle of the stone, there are 4 huge mutant reticulated pythons, and one of them is known to all of these mutant beasts. That is the mutant reticulated python king, the last snake king. In addition, there are 8 low-level creature blood pythons that have long been driven to extinction by powerful mutant beasts and can only be found in the green area. However, at this moment, those blood pythons completely understood their cognition, and the bodies exposed in their sight were huge and incredible. Click, click, Golyulu, Chi-Chi. At the scene, such voices kept coming. Pythons have always swallowed food with their mouths open and swallowed them whole. However, these pythons are different. Some pythons first use their bodies to grind the food into mud. The bones are broken. There is a clicking sound, and then swallowing. Some pythons, swallowing them in one bite, and then borrowing their strong muscle contraction ability, can also make the bones rattle. Extremely weird. Moreover, in the process of swallowing, bright red blood was constantly splashing out, and many of the broken stones were all covered with blood, which was very dazzling under the sun. The air is filled with the smell of blood, as well as a cold breath. The most important thing is that, during the process of swallowing, the bloodshot eyes of the mutant pythons are shot over from time to time, and the killing intent is boiling. At the same time, when a large amount of food enters their mouth, it directly turns into pure energy, quickly transform their bodies. Then, the group of mutant beasts who surrounded them saw the scene like before again. The bodies of these mutant pythons are increasing visible to the naked eye, and their auras are getting stronger and stronger, as if there is no limit, as if they can continue to grow. This completely out of the understanding of these mutant beasts. Fear, tremble, shrink. Yes, tens of thousands of mutant beasts gathered around. After seeing this situation, they stopped, and such emotions madly spread in their minds. However, these are just the beginning. Roar. Yibei moved. The gray-brown bodies, entwined together, opened their mouths and roared. Ichi. Then, all the mutant beasts found out that there was a python of more than 40 meters beside the hill of rubble. They hadn't noticed any of them before. What's more terrifying is, with Yibei's roar, all the breath on his body was released crazily. Terrible and familiar breath. The eyes of the mutant beasts began to widen. After feeling this breath, they immediately knew that this giant python that hadn't been noticed by them before. It was on the beach before. Yibei, the blood-red python king. Just, the color of the body is completely different. After not seeing him in just 4 days, his breath has become a lot stronger. Originally, you guarded the beach well, and then locked this red area to prevent any humans from coming in. I wouldn't do anything to you. Now, if you take the initiative to come and die, then I'm not welcome. My young snakes are about to be born and need a lot of food. It seems very good to use you as food. Chi-Chi. Yibei's huge body curled up. The scarlet letters spit out from his mouth. After the system's special processing, his voice can be heard very clearly by the surrounding mutant beasts. Wow, the mutant beasts backed up with a splash. As beasts, they are all instinctive. Facing a creature that is stronger than themselves, the first feeling is to back off and run away. Only now, after taking 2 steps back, they stopped again decisively. They are mutant beasts with part of the IQ. Reason tells them that if they escape again today, all the mutant beasts in the entire red area will become food for the terrifying python in front of them. Can continue to devour prey and continue to increase strength, endless. With his existence, there will never be peace. Roar. There was a roar from the 5-meter-high mutant lion king. Although the voice was weaker than Yibei's before, it was also very powerful. The sharp teeth in his mouth were covered with dark red blood stains, all exposed. Immediately afterwards, this lion king rushed in the direction of Yibei first. Whoosh whoosh. The thick muscles of the hind legs exploded with unprecedented strength. When he slammed backwards, the huge body rose directly into the air. There was a whistling sound in the air. Chi-Chi. At the same time, sharp minions also protruded from its toes. Silvery white. Each minion must be at least 10 centimeters long. And it's thick and sharp, as if anything hard was torn apart by such minions. So fast, the mutant lion in the green area is more than 100 times stronger. Seeing the mutant golden lion king rushing over, Yibei slowly narrowed his eyes. His body did not move anymore. When these mutant beasts rushed here, he had already released his powerful mental power. At a distance of 10 kilometers, all areas are open. The entire island, almost 1/8 of the area, was shrouded by Tai Yibei. Although the speed of the mutant lion king is very fast, it is only very slow in Yibei's attention. You know that Yibei, who bursts out with all his strength, can easily reach 35 m/section. Roar. The Lion King was still roaring. After seeing Yibei not avoiding, he was extremely frightened at first. At this moment, a gleam of light burst into his eyes. As for the tens of thousands of mutant beasts behind, they all stared. Hold your breath. Bang, bang, bang. All I could hear was the constant pounding heartbeat. There was a glimmer of hope in my eyes. As long as the Lion King can catch the Python King with his sharp claws, he can definitely be seriously injured, right? All the mutant beasts all had such thoughts. Just Chi-Chi. In the next moment, the sharp claws of the Lion King did catch on Yibei's body. There was even a scoffing noise, which was extremely harsh. But, in the next scene, the mutant beasts around them moved again, and then quickly moved back. In their eyes, they were once again occupied by fear and shock, and their pupils began to dilate. Chi-Chi. The sound of sharp claws scratching the flesh. Mutant Lion King. Lethality is very terrifying. Since there were mutant beasts on the experimental islands, the mutant Lion King has always been the one standing at the pinnacle. Those sharp claws and sharp teeth. I don't know how many prey was torn apart, how many mutant beasts' necks were crushed. All mutant beasts have a thought. Don't want to live any creatures hit by the Lion King. But now, the scene before them made these mutant beasts feel deeply desperate. It would be okay if the Lion King's attack hadn't hit. Now, it's obviously hit, and the sharp claws also touched Yi. The skin on the north body. Chi 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 chi. But then, the sharp claws couldn't go deep. Constantly issued a sneer sound. Booming. And soon, because the mutant Lion King, who had lost its support, flew over, its paws did not penetrate into Yibei's body. It fell directly from the air to the ground, and the huge body made a loud rumbling sound. Oh, oh. Gigi. Furifer. Roar. When the mutant Lion King fell to the ground, the mutant beasts around him finally reacted. After retreating, they all made low roars. These sounds mixed together, making the originally quiet forest full of suicide. Breath. The mutant Lion King who rushed past had no idea that his own attack would have no effect on Yibei. Booming. He fell to the ground with a rumble, tearing his whole body in pain, but it couldn't take care of that much. Wow. The next moment, there was a crash, holding back the severe pain of the body, tumbling from the ground, backing a few steps, grinning at Yibei. The pupils of his eyes became more and more red, trying to use anger to cover his heart fear. I originally wanted to try how much damage this body can withstand now. It seems that I don't need to try it now. The system is sincerely not deceiving me. Now this body, maybe even a rocket can't draw a little bit. Scars. Chi-Chi. The letter spit out. Yibei's voice was very small, and only he could hear these words. Huh. In the next moment, he focused all his eyes on the mutant Lion King. After feeling Yibei's gaze, the hair on the mutant Lion King instantly stood up. As for the pythons who were hatching eggs, I was really worried about Yibei just now. But now, when I saw my king's body, there were no scars at all, so I looked at him with a look of awe. Deepened a lot again, staring at the mutant Lion King in front of him. Yibei still didn't move, just looking carefully. Golden hair. Moreover, the hair is very long. After the evolution, these hairs still exude a luster like metal. Sharp fangs in the mouth. The sharp claws on the limbs and feet are terrifying. If Yibei were still a human being, suddenly facing such a mutant Lion King, he would be frightened and unable to move on the spot. Your strength is not bad. It's a pity. Your evolution is just that your body has become larger and your strength has increased a bit. These are far from enough. Or else, mutated Lion King, are you interested in doing things for me in the future? Chi-Chi. The scarlet letter spit out. When Yibei's voice reached the ears of the Lion King, it also passed to the ears of all the mutant beasts. Haha. So, all the mutant beasts focused their gazes on the Lion King. What do you mean? Roar. With his mouth wide open, the mutant Lion King let out a low roar. His eyes were blood red, and as a king, he surrendered because of a single word from a python. It was absolutely impossible. Majesty, killing intent, and the influence that has been caused in the hearts of these mutant beasts for a long time. If even it betrays, things will be big. It's a pity. This mutant Lion King didn't figure out the situation at all. When its attack could not cause any harm to Yibei, the result actually appeared. Facing Yibei's words, he did not refute anything at all. Room. I mean to let you be my pet in the future and do things for me. Yibei squinted his eyes. Killing intent and chill came together. While saying this, in his mind, he also decisively began to communicate with the system. System, when it swallowed those human evolutions before, didn't it open me 4 more apostles? This mutant Lion King can be used to upgrade to become my apostle, right? Of course. But, have you considered the host? The number of apostles will not continue to increase with evolution. After reaching a certain level, they will be restricted. Please choose the host carefully. The system offered an opinion. If it's correct, this mutant Lion King should be the most powerful among the tens of thousands of mutant beasts. Just accept him. Let's start the system. Yibei wasn't wordy. Ho ho ho. The mutant Lion King grinned, constantly roaring, glaring at Yibei. It seems that Yibei's remarks that he wanted to be his pet before were full of humiliation. However, Just when the Lion King was preparing for the next attack, there was no warning. A silver-white light appeared out of thin air, and a sneer fell into its head, and then it felt that its body was producing strange things. Change. When facing the giant python in front of him, the thought of surrender came from deep in his heart. As for Yi Bei, after the mutant Lion King became his apostle, a mysterious connection immediately appeared in his mind. As long as you have a thought, you can completely control this mutant Lion King. Let it die. It will not hesitate at all. Host, the apostle contract has been reached. The silver light completely disappeared, and the sound of the system sounded. Okay. Yi Bei nodded slightly. The body was entrenched, condescendingly looking at the head in front of him. His gaze faded, and then condensed. All the killing intent and anger before disappeared, and all were replaced by the mutant Lion King who was respected and surrendered. From today, your name is Golden Lion. Do you know? Chi spit out the letter, and the voice came out lightly. Roar. The mutant Lion King made a huge roar in his mouth. Yes, he agreed without any hesitation. Then the legs in front were bent, and he knelt down in front of Yi Bei. The Lion King kneels down? The tens of thousands of mutant beasts around all stared out. And the mutant lion clan led by the mutant Lion King before was even more daunting. What happened? They can't think through when they run out of mind. It's just that they can't tolerate any excessive thoughts. Because in the next second, Yi Bei once again focused his attention on the mutant beasts. The food delivered to the door is almost waiting to be harvested. Ho ho ho. Wow. The cry and roar of beasts in the experimental islands, red areas, and forests never stopped for a moment. The mutant Lion King bent his front legs like a human, kneeling in front of Yi Bei. Such a scene had really shocked the mutant beasts around him. They are here to kill Yi Bei, prevent the reticulated pythons from hatching, leaving a way out for their future survival. However, this result has just begun now. The law of the jungle. The weak eats the strong. Now, there are two paths ahead of you. Either leave some as my food, or all die. Chi. Yi Bei vomited the letter, and when he looked at the mutant beasts, he said unceremoniously. After all, from the time he entered this red zone, his ultimate goal was to continuously devour evolution. The experimental island is too small. Yi Bei knew very well that one day he would leave here, to a larger sky. According to the system, after swallowing the beasts on the entire island, 100% will evolve into Titan Python. So, his eyes swept over these mutant beasts, and Yi Bei regarded them as the most side food. If it is not for worrying about the reticulated python egg being destroyed during the battle, now Yi Bei had already rushed in mercilessly and ate something special. Wow. Roar. Furifer. Facing Yi Bei's strength, the mutant beast took a few steps back, but still had no plan to escape. He opened his mouth wide and kept making noises. Don't retreat. This python has made it clear that it will treat us as food. Even if we ran away today, he will be swallowed by him sooner or later. Go. Go on. Come on. The mutant wolf king, the hair on his body exploded. His eyes were full of cunning, and the wailing voice came out, urging his wolves to attack. What's the matter with the Lion King? It is behind the Python King now. Why not attack? Those mutant lions roar constantly. Seeing that their king surrendered to a python and then obediently retreated behind the python, they couldn't believe that this turned out to be true. Don't be afraid. With so many of us, we can definitely beat it. The mutant orangutan slapped his chest and made a crisp sound. When he said this, his aura was very strong. System, give this mutant Lion King a finished evolution potion. Yi Bei squinted his eyes and heard the words of the other mutant beast kings. He didn't care. His own body, invincible, has long been invincible. No matter how much they gather fighting power, the final result is the same. They will be swallowed by Yi Bei sooner or later. Sooner or later is a matter of time. Okay. The system is decisive. Next, a trace of green, imperceptible finished evolving medicine turned into a mist, and instantly plunged into the breath of the mutant Lion King. But after the medicine enters his body, the eyes of the mutant Lion King immediately became clearer, and the eyes exuded with light, as if they had gained spiritual wisdom in an instant. After doing this, Yi Bei didn't hesitate. Golden Lion, now you should also have the ability to swallow. So much food in front of you. You rely on your own strength. Swallow casually. They will become your evolutionary boost. Try to become stronger in the shortest possible time. Chi. Yi Bei spit out the letter. This sentence just fell. After obtaining the finished medicine, the Golden Lion's spiritual intelligence instantly improved, but it was not at all wordy. Whoosh! Before Yi Bei started to move, its golden body directly rose into the air, turning into a golden shadow, and quickly rushed towards the mutant beast group. Click. In the next instant, the Golden Lion appeared in front of the mutant Wolf King. Laugh. After possessing the wisdom, it knows what it means to be unconscious, and it also knows how to use some tricky methods. Approaching the mutant Wolf King, there is no time for the Wolf King to respond. Its huge mouth is open, sharp teeth, and a snort it was stuck in the neck of the mutant Wolf King. The cracking sound of bone breaking. Puff puff. The bright red blood, like a fountain, puffed out from the neck of the mutant Wolf King. The ground and the mutant beasts nearby were immediately filled with bright red blood. Bite broke the mutant Wolf King's neck. The Golden Lion did not stop at all in the panic and shocked eyes of the mutant beasts. Hoo! Wow! Roar! The low growl in his mouth kept on. Crazy teeth, madly biting the body of the mutant Wolf King. Pieces of bright red flesh turned up, white, red, everywhere. The air is still filled with a strong smell of blood, and the wolf meat was eaten by the Golden Lion one bite at a time, and even in the process, there were whirring and crashing sounds. Bloody, cruel, without any emotion. The mutant Wolf King, who was still encouraging the wolves to attack, just now became the food in the mutant Lion King's mouth in the blink of an eye. After seeing such a scene, the mutant beasts couldn't help but back up again. However, the eyes of the pythons in the gravel mountain in the shape of Hui became brighter, especially Wang Wan. When Yi Bei accepted the Golden Lion as an apostle, there seemed to be a strange connection in its mind. As a result, when he looked at the Golden Lion, he originally had a murderous intent, but now he felt a kind of cordial, even sympathy. This feeling is very strange. Haw, haw, haw. Hoo! Roar! The Golden Lion is still devouring the Wolf King. Those mutant wolves, seeing that their king was killed by the lion, had no other way except to retreat. Moreover, what makes them even more shocking is that as the Golden Lion eats more and more of the Wolf King's meat, its body, as well as the breath emanating from it, has obviously grown. This situation is different from the previous one. When the North swallowed humans, it was almost the same. Very good. To evolve to the strongest as soon as possible is that you will need your help for many things in the future. Yi Bei squinted his eyes, very satisfied with the reaction of Golden Lion. Chi. Whoosh whoosh. Spit out Shinzi. Yi Bei moved without hesitation after saying this. The gray-brown body turned into an afterimage. The sharp fangs in his mouth and the two poison-filled fangs at the corners of the mouth seemed like death sickles. Wow! Chi. Rumble. The body rushed into the group of mutant beasts, a terrifying massacre, and it started instantly. Devouring constantly. The bodies of the mutant beasts, transformed into pure energy, are constantly growing Yi Bei. With this time swallowed, Yi Bei's body length has not changed, but its diameter has grown rapidly. Chi. Puff puff. Bright red blood splashed wantonly. The air is full of blood fog. Under the dazzling sunlight, the blood fog looks terrifying. Yi Bei's eyes were jet black at first, but after rushing into the group of beasts and swallowing beasts bit by bit, enjoying the pleasure of swallowing and killing, his eyes slowly turned blood red. Devour. Constantly devouring evolution. A large number of mutant beasts all turned into pure energy, spreading in Yi Bei's body. With the help of the system, there is no feeling of support at all. Blood splattered. In the shape of back, the pythons looked dumbfounded. And those tens of thousands of mutant beasts saw the Lion King and Yi Bei attack at the same time. Some of the timid mutant beasts rushed away. But the vast majority of mutant beasts, who have some intelligence, know that even if they ran away today, they would still die. So, they seemed to be crazy, with unprecedented fear and anger, and they were madly moving towards Yi Bei. Jinsher rushed in the direction of the lion. Yi Bei was very worried before. I am afraid that this kind of animal melee will affect the hatching of reticulated python eggs. But now it turns out that it was Yi Bei that he thought too much. Just killed the Wolf King, then subdued the Lion King, and finally let the Lion King swallow the Wolf King. Enjoying the feeling of evolution, Yi Bei has completely become the #1 enemy of these mutant beasts. All the mutant beasts are all focused on him. Wow. Ho ho ho. The situation at the scene was just crazy. All kinds of violent roars and rushing sounds mixed together, as Yi Bei continued to devour it. But after all, it was just one. Those mutant beasts, desperate attacks. Thus, such a situation appeared on the scene. Wow. Those mutant beasts, as if they were all crazy, gathered quickly with Yi Bei's body as the center. Step on one end. Build a mountain with your body. Relying on the huge number, mutant beasts of various races, their bodies blended together, densely packed. Various colors. 5 minutes. Yi Bei's huge body was completely submerged by those mutant beasts, and he couldn't even see any shadows. But even so, the mutant beasts scattered around did not intend to stop, and they continued to climb, using the bodies of the mutant beasts as the cornerstone, constantly stacking up, gathering the more piles. Back among the rubble, those pythons, seeing this situation, at this moment, turned out to be surprisingly calm. I want to swallow the king in the way of the sea of beasts, then bite and kill the king. This method is really crazy enough, because they can think of it, but unfortunately, it is unknown until now. I clearly feel that the king's power has not only shown no signs of decline, but has been constantly increasing. Wangwen stared. Chi-Chi, Scarlet Letter was spitting out of her mouth. In sight, tens of thousands of mutant beasts are piled up crazily. I don't know how many mutant beasts are at the bottom. Under such terrible pressure, the bones in the body are broken into powder and even turned into a pool of flesh. Densely packed. Step forward. The piled-up beast mountain reached more than 200 meters in diameter, and it was still rapidly increasing. The height has reached more than 50 meters. A triangle shape of is formed. Moreover, these are not the end. As more and more mutant beasts gather, this beast mountain is getting higher and higher. Even the mutant Lion King, who had been devouring frantically next to him, was swallowed by the wild beasts. But that mutant Lion King was not as powerful as Yi Bei, although because of the constant devouring, his aura and size were growing rapidly. However, its defensive power was very poor. After facing those mutant beasts, the hair on its body was constantly torn off, bloody, and the screams in its mouth continued. Wow! Booming. With the passage of time, it is completely impossible to calculate how many mutant beasts rushed into the Beast Mountain. We really don't need help? Without the king's order, you must not act rashly. Don't forget our mission. Protecting these snake eggs is the key. Keep watching. Chunhua Qyu, 8 blood pythons for pleasure and joy also spoke. Their IQ is no longer worse than that of ordinary humans, and they clearly know what they should do now. Then, their eyes gathered on the Beast Mountain again. Whew! At this moment, after being completely submerged by the beasts, Yi Bei closed his eyes, breathing hard while breathing. Eyes are the only thing that Yi Bei is more vulnerable to injury right now. When the eyes are closed, the body with super defensive power, no matter how the mutant beast bites, it can't cause any harm. Chi. Click, click. Golyulu, constantly opening his mouth wide and constantly swallowing in his mind, he was also extremely excited. Judging from the outside situation alone, perhaps Yi Bei was at a disadvantage and was overwhelmed by so many mutant beasts. However, Looking at it from Yibei's perspective, it is totally exciting. It was like a hungry mouse that fell into a tank full of rice. Open your mouth. You don't even need to swallow it yourself. There are some mutant beasts rushing to drill into the mouth. This feeling turned Yibei over. As time went by, Yibei simply closed his eyes tightly and then opened his mouth to its maximum. The voice of the system is constantly resounding in his mind. Congratulations to the host for successfully swallowing a mutant ant and gaining 1,000 evolution points. Congratulations to the host who successfully swallowed a mutant fox and gained 2,000 evolution points. Congratulations to the host successfully swallowing a mutant lizard and gaining 3,000 evolution points. The voice keeps on. With the help of the system, any creature, as long as it is swallowed by Yibei, can instantly transform into energy like a bottomless pit. 10 minutes. 20 minutes. Yibei swallowed the mutant beasts, no longer know how many. The length of the body, diameter, and the breath carried on the body. But it keeps growing, and after half an hour, the mutant beasts that piled up into the mountains finally felt something was wrong. The natural feeling between the beasts and the beasts was absolutely infallible. Yibei's aura continued to increase, and they all felt it. So, the atmosphere on the scene slowly became weird. Roar. Just when these mutant beasts were wondering what was going on, a loud roar suddenly sounded. That was Yibei's voice. Ho ho ho. In the red area, in the forest, the roar of the golden lion is louder. Its defensive power is poor. After being submerged by the mutant beast group, he is the king of beasts, and he cannot withstand the impact and damage. Although the body looks miserable and bloody, but soon the golden lion discovered something that made it extremely excited. No matter how badly he is injured, as long as he has the strength to swallow a prey nearby, the wound on his body will quickly heal, and at the same time the strength in the body is rapidly becoming stronger. That is the feeling of evolution. It makes the blood in the body boil. So, the golden lion completely ignored the pain on his body, the sharp teeth in his mouth and the claws on his feet, leaning on the nearest prey and attacking frantically. The mouth did not stop even for a moment. Although the appearance is miserable, this feeling, if you don't go there in person, you will never be able to experience it. Anyway, the level of excitement occupies most of the golden lion's mind. Roar. The beasts felt abnormal. It wasn't until Yibei let out a roar that the mutant beasts realized how terrifying things were. Wow! A huge power burst out directly from Yibei's body. After being submerged just now, Yibei's evolution points reached more than 6 million, and the number of mutated beasts swallowed reached more than 400. 09 Small Sinet. Originally, Yibei could swallow more. But when the number of evolution points is fixed at 8 million, his body has directly changed. Click, click. The bones in the body made a creaking sound again, and such a roar in his mouth was not what Yibei intended. However, this roar was accompanied by huge energy. At the same time, an extremely hot flame completely wrapped Yibei's body in an instant. Red light sputtered everywhere. Booming. In the next moment, the mutant beasts that piled up around Yibei's body, all flying around like kites with broken wires. And some of the mutant beasts that leaned on Yibei's recent body were directly cooked by Yibei's intense heat, and their hair was completely dry, leaving only a strong smell of barbecue in the forest. With the sea breeze, keep spreading. Wong, it's going to evolve again. In the gravel mountain in the shape of return, Wangwen suddenly shrank his pupils when he saw this scene. That force just now was too strong. How much power does it take to shake away all the tens of thousands of mutant beasts? Even Wangwen could clearly see that many of the mutant beasts in the periphery fell to the ground under the shock and rolled several times. Had it not been for Yibei's foresight, he had moved the battlefield farther away. It is estimated that at this time, the entire Broken Stone Mountain, under the explosive power, will directly become ruins, and all snake eggs will be broken. Okay. Wang Wen's voice fell. Chunhua Qiuyue, 8 blood pythons looking for pleasure, their eyes widened. However, they did not speak, but stared at the direction where Yibei was. Compared with the power that shook Bei just now, at this moment, they were even more amazed at the scene presented in front of them. Before being submerged by the mutant beasts, Bei's body was grayish-brown, and his eyes were also pitch black. But now, all of Bei's body became fiery red, even in it, as if countless magma was beating. The hot breath spread wildly. As for the eyes, they braved the golden light, full of incredible. Fortunately, no humans know what happened here. Otherwise, seeing such things that are beyond common sense, they will never be calm, and they will even shout for the appearance of gods. Wow! Bei's body seemed to be burning with endless flames, and there was a clattering sound. Around his body, the corpses of mutant beasts are scattered everywhere, and the original bright red blood stains on the ground are all blackened under this high temperature. And some of the mutant beasts who survived, at this moment, where can they dare to continue? After being stunned by the sight in front of him, then one by one desperately ran. It wasn't until he retreated hundreds of meters away that he stopped with lingering fears and looked at Bei with endless fear in his eyes. As for the golden lion, when Bei broke out, the mutant beasts that flooded it also dispersed. By devouring the prey, its injuries were completely recovered, and its entire body was fully evolved. But even so, it is also backed quickly, looking at Bei from a distance. Wong, what's the matter? Mutated Snake King, what a strong breath. The smell of burnt and blood mixed in the air. Whether it was the enemy or Bei's subordinates, all of them were filled with doubts. What? However, at this time, nothing was more exciting than Bei. The body is wrapped in flames. Not only did he not feel hot, but he felt an extremely comfortable feeling. The pure energy brought by the swallowing a large number of mutant beasts before, with the help of these flames, began to accelerate to be absorbed by Bei's body. The length of the body is still increasing rapidly. 45 meters, 46 meters, 50 meters. At this moment, Bei's body reached 50 meters before stopping. At the same time, the increase in the diameter of the body is the greatest. Originally, the diameter of Bei's body was only 65 meters, but now, with the help of those huge forces, he broke this number in an instant. The bones in his body clicked, and the sneered sound continued for a moment. The diameter of the body increased to 120 centimeters before it stopped. Roar! The excitement brought about by evolution made Bei couldn't help but want to shout. When the body length was fixed at 50 meters and the diameter was fixed at 120 centimeters, the flames on Bei's body slowly decayed. However, the invincible breath exuding from his body increased wildly. Chi-Chi. After the flame was completely extinguished, 20 minutes had passed. Host, this evolution has been completed. Because too many mutant beasts have been swallowed continuously, and at the same time, too many mixed genes are difficult to digest quickly. However, with the help of flames, they have successfully accelerated the speed to completely integrate them. The distance evolution becomes a Titan Python, only needs 2 million evolution points. I hope that the host will continue to work hard, and the strength will change dramatically, just around the corner. The voice of the system still kept resounding in Bei's mind. The system, which had always been cold, was surprisingly excited. Yes, this time, this happened because Bei continuously swallowed too many mutant beasts of different races. The genes are different. When it was absorbed, the genes were mixed together. However, it has finally recovered completely. Bei's body became grayish-brown again. Scarlet Shinko spit out from his mouth. He did not pay attention to the tragic situation around him, but directly began to observe his current body. In his eyes, excitement soon appeared. The dazzling sunlight is scattered in the forest through the gaps between the leaves. 09 Small Sonnet. In the air, the burnt smell and the smell mixed together, forming an extremely strange smell. The forest, a large piece of land, was burned by flames, and the surrounding big trees all fell down. At this moment, the entire body of a huge python is entrenched in it. It does nothing, but from it, a cold killing intent was constantly exuding. This kind of breath is very subtle. Some humans who are often on the verge of death may be easily noticed. But in the same way, for the beasts, this kind of breath is the best way to perceive the enemy. Around this python, there are still a large number of mutant beasts. His eyes widened, his teeth grinned, his eyes were full of fear, his body trembled, and he didn't dare to take a step forward. Huh! Yibei took a deep breath. Spiritual power spreads. The realm is fully opened. He knew everything around him, and he was also very clear about his body. The length of the body is 50 meters. The diameter is 120 centimeters, which is 2 meters. When it was 65 centimeters before it was too thin. Now it looks just right. It's the golden ratio among pythons. As for the skin, although it looks grayish-brown, if you look carefully, it is not difficult to find that there are many other tones mixed in it. Once needed, the color of the body surface should be able to change quickly. It really looks like a chameleon. 09 small Seinet. Chi. Yibei spit out the letter in a very small voice. After reading this, he controlled the muscles in his body and moved slightly. Rumble. Wow. Although Yibei tried his best to control his own power. But Naya's body is really too big. A small movement can make a rumbling, clattering vibration. The mutant beasts, after seeing Yibei move, were frightened again one by one, and turned around instinctively and ran. However, Yibei fell silent again next. The speed and strength of the body have all been greatly improved. Not bad. I really look forward to how powerful it will become when it evolves into a Titan Python. After feeling the strength of his body, Yibei spat out Shinzi, and then said with satisfaction. He didn't check his information panel immediately. Hey. Rather, he looked directly at the mutant beasts who had survived, shivering and trembling in the distance. Swallowed more than 400 mutant beasts. If it weren't for evolving, Yibei could guarantee that he could continue to swallow it. Anyway, his stomach never felt rising. Even if he swallowed all the mutant beasts here, there would be no big problem. It's just that he never expected. If your own body eats the same food, it can be swallowed forever. If the number of genes is too large, it will also produce some abnormal reactions, resulting in a situation of fullness. The number of mutant beasts in front of them is very large. Only 8 more than 400 heads. The golden lion ate only 10 or 20. Of course, many mutant beasts died when Yibei broke out before converging into a tide of beasts. Through the field, Yibei carefully calculated it. This time, including the numbers that he swallowed, there were 2,223 mutant beasts that died. The numbers look huge. But obviously, it didn't do much harm to the entire mutant beast group. The only use is to make these mutant beasts taste the taste of fear again. Follow what I said, and keep the entire island well. If any humans dare to come in, they will be killed and sent over to me. In this case, I can consider letting you live. If you continue to die, just come over. Chi. Yibei spit out the letter. The voice was not loud, and when he said this, his tone was indisputable, cold, and murderous. In fact, when Yibei said this, he was still quite depressed. There are still tens of thousands of mutant beasts in front of me, and I can evolve into a Titan Python with only 2 million evolution points. If I can really swallow all these mutant beasts in front of me, how powerful! But the system is not an idiot. He would never give him Yibei the chance to earn points indiscriminately. In fact, when Yibei said the above sentence, the voice of the system was already resounding in Yibei's mind. The host. According to the system's previously customized standards, the evolution of the Titan Python can only be completed by swallowing all the creatures of the entire experimental island. But because the host's current evolution point is too high, the number of biological species swallowed has reached a certain number. Continue to swallow the mutation beast. The evolution points will be stored as a spare quantity, unless a new species provides enough genes, or after completing the evolution of the Titan Python. These evolution points can be used. This is what the system suddenly popped into Yibei's mind. Can evolution points be stored? Okay. Yibei believed it anyway. At the same time, Yibei, who has been improved by the finished evolution potion, is very clear. If he really continues to swallow it, storing evolution points will only greatly increase the points needed to become a Titan Python. Instead of directly killing these mutant beasts, it's better to raise them in captivity. On the one hand, you can raise the young reticulated python that will be born soon. On the other hand, after becoming a Titan Python, these can still become their own food. Based on the above reasons, Yi Bei gave these mutant beasts a chance. Of course, what the system said just now made Yi Bei feel that there is a very big loophole. Species are restricted to the entire experimental island. Then, if there are alien species, the evolution points will not be counted in it. Yi Bei will devour it. Can also complete evolution. In short, this is simply a geographical restriction. Roar. Wow. Fur. Woo. Those mutant beasts, when facing Yi Bei's strength, how dare they have the slightest opinion? There are so many corpses on the ground and the smell of blood in the air, always reminding them. He looked at Yi Bei with fear in his eyes. There is only surrender inside. Completely surrendered. Just like some weak creatures raised by humans, they can only beg for mercy, but they can't even think of any ideas before they dare to provoke Yi Bei. Make a sound in your mouth.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wow. However, all his body turned around, rushing towards the beach of the experimental island frantically, not daring to delay anymore. Wow. The mutant beasts came and ran fast. In less than 3 minutes, it disappeared. These are all foods he has stored. Yi Bei narrowed his eyes and said this in a cold tone after seeing them all left, and then he looked at the golden lion. Well, Yi Bei himself was shocked at first sight. The change of golden lion is absolutely amazing. Zzz. Because of the high temperature of the flames released by Yi Bei just now, there are still many sparks burning on the ground, and the leaves emit white smoke, and some big trees are burnt to darkness, making a sizzling noise. In addition, there are corpses of mutant beasts scattered everywhere. Almost all types are available. The sun shines through the leaves and cast on the white smoke, making the scene look full of depression after the battle. The scene was bleak and silent. However, in this case, a lion with golden hair, with his head back, stood proudly in it. Haw haw. The mouth is still chirping, biting the prey. Ha. Bright red blood dripped down its sharp teeth, and the sound kept clicking. If you look at the current image of this lion seriously, it is completely beyond human cognition. Even the infinite evolution system was obtained, and it evolved into the third stage of the bloodstained python. Seeing this lion, it was shocked. Just imagine, like Manhwa Ch, having fun. These pythons can, after devouring and evolving, they can become so huge and possess such powerful power. As the king of the grassland, although this is a forest, it cannot conceal its glory. Golden lion. The height of the body has reached 8 meters. If you stand up, it is at least 12 meters long. Under the sun's rays, every hair on his body is incomparably clear, like golden thorns. After seeing this, Yi Bei took a deep breath. To be honest, the lion that can swallow evolution indefinitely, instead of relying on the mutation of the residual potion, is really handsome. It is perfect as a pet. Of course, if you have the opportunity to get another Tiger King as an apostle. After all, the tiger is the king of the forest. Chi. Shinzi spit out from his mouth. The voice was not loud and controlled by the domain. Other creatures could not hear it. However, at this moment, the pythons and golden lions all focused on Yi Bei. Golden lion. The mutant beasts just now are regarded as rewards for you. Remember, starting today, without my order, you can never swallow any mutant beast without authorization, unless I am not there and you lack food to survive. In addition, I'll give you a task. As the Lion King, all the mutant lions in the red zone are under your control. Now, I ask you to rule them again for my use. Can you do it? Yi Bei squinted his eyes. In order to do experiments on this island, almost all the animals in the world brought a few over. With the leakage of the potion, a large number of beasts multiplied rapidly. When fighting against those mutant beasts before, Yi Bei calculated that the number of mutant lions was 58. 09 Small Senet. Although the size of other lions differs greatly from the golden lions, they are not 1.5 stars stronger than ordinary lions. If they can be controlled, they can be used as a reserve of food and can be a powerful boost, which is definitely a great thing. Wong. With my current strength, presumably they won't have any opinions. Even if they let them die, they won't resist. The golden lion opened its mouth. Roar. The deep roar, turned into extremely respectful language, clearly reached Yi Bei's ears. It won't be enough to kill. Now you go over and control all the mutant lions, and then bring them here. There are still a few days left to keep them guarding nearby. Any other mutant beasts or don't get close. Yi Bei used the tone of command directly this time, and he didn't want the kind of beast tide that happened again. The golden lion is his own apostle. Yi Bei can believe it 100%. As for the other lions, limited by the golden lion's control, they will definitely not be able to overcome any storm. Yes, King. The golden lion did not dare to hesitate, and after agreeing, his limbs exerted strength, and his body instantly turned into a golden shadow. Booming. Some big trees in front of it were directly hit by this guy. Roar. While rushing, he roared in his mouth, calling the lions from the entire island. After seeing the golden lion completely leave, in the back shape, the pythons slowly reacted. King, congratulations on your success in subduing the Lion King, Wang Wen said first. As an apostle, the wonderful connection made him clear that the golden lion will only follow Yi Bei's orders in the future. In the future, this island will become ours completely. There are at most 5 days before all the snake eggs will hatch. Wang, what about the corpses of these mutant beasts? Chunhua Qiuyue, 8 blood pythons seeking pleasure and joy, also spoke up one after another. However, most of their eyes were on the charred mutant beasts on the ground. The corpses, to them, were all it is the energy that can make them stronger quickly. Continue to incubate snake eggs. During the war just now, you must have swallowed some prey. The surroundings are left for the young snakes to eat. After they hatch, I will give them wisdom as soon as they want food. If you do, wait for you to rob yourself. Chi-Chi. Yi Bei glanced at these pythons. After a big battle, plus he threw all the stored food to them. A figure has grown a lot, all entangled together. When I was speaking, I was vomiting a letter, and the flesh on his body was still moving. If it weren't for him, Yi Bei would also be a python, and seeing such a scene, I guess it would be difficult to breathe on the spot.
Yes.
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 These pythons absolutely obeyed Yi Bei's orders. They agreed, and then seriously food on. Wow. Yi Bei ignored the corpses of the mutant beasts around him. As long as he was nearby, no mutant beasts on this island would dare to steal food. The body crashed up the broken rock mountain, entangled into a circle, staring at the snake eggs in the Hui shape. After a long time, his eyes slowly narrowed. In my mind, I started to communicate with the system. System, open my information panel. I want to see how my body data is now. Squinting his eyes, Yi Bei made a request. The sound falls. The magical light curtain appeared in front of Yi Bei's eyes again. After seeing the above information, Yi Bei felt that his heart rate was beginning to accelerate. This time, his body improved really well. It was even more advanced than before, swallowing 120 humans on the beach. The information displayed on the information panel looks like this. Wow. On the gravel mountain, there were some small stones from time to time. Because they couldn't bear the huge strength of Yi Bei's body, they rolled down. Sitting on the top of the stone mountain, Yi Bei squinted. The pythons in the stone mountain hatched their eggs earnestly and did not dare to disturb Yi Bei in the slightest. At this moment, the familiar light curtain appeared in front of Yi Bei's eyes. Infinite Evolution System. Name, Yi Bei. Primary species, blood python plus reticulated python gene mix. New species. Age, 1 year old. Lifespan, 200 years. The evolution points of the third stage of bloodstripe python, 8000000/1000000. The third stage is the ultimate stage, and the level will be upgraded after completion. Level, LV2, after leveling up, genes can be changed to move towards a higher level of snake-like species. Language, biological universal language, the highest level. Ability, full fangs, fire breathing, free movement underwater, enhanced 2 times. Apostle, 5, use the quantity 2, respectively, Wong 1, Golden Lion. Territory, 10 kilometers in diameter, centered on the location of the host. The spiritual power coverage is all territories. Length, 51 meters. Average body diameter. Body resistance to stress, level 25. Can withstand the explosion of rockets without any damage. Speed, 40 m/section. Strength, 50 t, can easily lift a weight of 30 t. Weight, 51 tons. Prizes, 5 silver treasure chests. Task, evolve into a Titan Python, transform the entire island into the newest territory, develop your own snake group, and reward a platinum treasure chest. This is his latest information from eBay. The treasure chests have become 5, and the wave of devouring just now has directly increased by 4. For treasure chests, eBay has long known that the system can't keep him going. There are tens of thousands of mutant beasts here. Head, if there is a probability of the beginning, how many treasure chests will eBay get? This time he was able to get 4, which was beyond eBay's expectations. Second, the lifespan has increased to 200 years. This is far beyond human. Speed, strength, weight, length, diameter, all of these have been greatly improved. Excited. This evolutionary speed really excites eBay. How long has he been reborn? From a small python into a 51-meter behemoth in the blink of an eye, countless mutant beasts have all become food in his mouth. However, after reading the information and being excited, eBay soon discovered a very serious matter. He is now a blood-stained python. According to the evaluation of the system, there are 4 words in front: primary varieties. In other words, there are intermediate varieties, advanced varieties, and perhaps other varieties eBay hadn't noticed before, but now that I think about it seriously, there are many problems in it. Only a junior breed has such a huge body and ability. If it evolves to the highest level, how powerful it is. Sitting on the gravel mountain, eBay squinted his eyes. After thinking of this, he couldn't help but have a lot of expectations in his heart. Only 2 million evolution points are left before becoming a Titan Python. After the young snakes hatch, let them have the ability to survive and start to harvest other creatures on the entire island. eBay is slowly waiting here. On the other side, mercenary base. With the 120 mercenaries sent out, all were killed. None of them came back alive, and even the 2 large ships were burned down in the end. The general manager of the mercenary base has been all are on the verge of anger and excitement. 3 days, in the blink of an eye. Efforts to stabilize the interior. Tell the mercenaries who are still alive that the previous accident was completely accidental. After successfully concealing the situation on the experimental island, they gathered high-level staff and sat in the conference room again. No big screen. No photo. The chief of the mercenary organization sits on the main seat. Other high levels are sitting on both sides. The atmosphere seemed a little dull. The last mission we failed, a miserable defeat. Most of the reason is because we didn't understand the situation on the experimental island. The power of the mutant beasts far exceeded our imagination and even gained incredible abilities. Although terrible, but these days, I have been so excited that I can't sleep. Everyone, this time I call you here to prepare for another use of force against the experimental island. Swish. The head of the mercenary organization swept his eyes across the seniors. Then he said this paragraph in a low voice. He is more fearful of the experimental island than anyone. Similarly, he has more expectations of it than anyone else. Boss, is that notice above? A high-level executive was silent for a few seconds before speaking slowly. This mercenary base can be built on an isolated island in the ocean, and it is naturally indispensable for the funding of some funders. The mercenaries obey the orders of the person in charge. The person in charge must also explain some of the actions here. Notice? What's a joke? This time, we are acting alone. If this kind of thing is known from above, do you think we still have a share? How much of the benefit is even us? It's clear that when the time comes, after the above has used us, it will be possible to directly kill. At this point, I can see more clearly than you. The head of the mercenary base has a cold voice. Wherever they looked, the high levels all felt an inexplicable chill. Interest. After all, everything is based on interests. When the benefit reaches a certain critical point, there is nothing that humans dare not do. Brotherhood. Friends kill. Even father and son can turn against each other. Humans, most of the time, they are much more terrifying than some unsentimental beasts. I support the boss. I also support. Do a big vote, and then make money to retire. I support. Those high levels thought for more than 10 seconds, looked at each other a few times, and finally reached a consensus on all their opinions. Seeing the reaction of these people, the head of the mercenary base nodded in satisfaction. Only then began to explain the next step. We have more than 400 people in our base. I am going to dispatch half of my forces to the experimental islands. I will be dispatched during the day, wearing the best quality equipment, and then directly transport a group of armored vehicles over and sit in the armored vehicles as soon as I get ashore. The meeting is continuing. This mercenary base is completely determined to work on the experimental island. And these thoughts, eBay knew about it long before this meeting started. Time flies. On the experimental island, the red zone forest, and the gravel mountain, eBay, who was originally entrenched on it, opened his eyes wide without warning. Because 14 days have passed since the snake eggs hatched. Today is exactly the 15th day. All 1,000 reticulated python eggs will hatch today. Wow! eBay just opened his eyes, and the surrounding rocks made a clattering sound. Not far from the Hui-shaped gravel mountain. Haha. Immediately there were more than a dozen cold eyes shot over. Those eyes were all from the mutant lion group led by the golden lion. However, when they discovered that it was eBay who was making the noise, the original cold eyes all turned into respect, and they quickly looked away. As for the middle of the back shape, Wangwon, Chunwakyu, looking for pleasure, and 3 huge adult reticulated pythons. After seeing eBay open his eyes, he immediately knew what was going on. Among them, Wangwon reacted fastest. Wang, today these snake eggs will all hatch. I have sensed the changes in their eggshells just now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with. Chi-Chi. Spit out Shinzi. Wang Wen's tone was very positive. Me too. Me too. These mutant reticulated python eggs are different, and their incubation cycle is different from that of ordinary snakes, but there is definitely no problem today. Chunhua Kyu, joyous and joyous also said one after another. Huh. Yibei nodded slightly. With a sigh, he looked at the golden lion in the distance. Golden lion. Expand the scope of surveillance. Today is the most critical day. Any mutant creatures are not allowed to come and disturb, and so are your mutant lions. The tone of command was used.
Yes.
The golden lion nodded. Roar. Then he opened his mouth wide and let out a few low growls. The mutant lions following him, after hearing this sound, pulled their legs and rushed towards the distance, quickly lurking into the forest. Yibei was quite satisfied with the performance of the golden lion. Then he looked at the snake egg. Hatching snake eggs does not affect the communication between you. After these snakes hatch, you are in charge of them. Who is responsible for the snake eggs after they are born? Doesn't everyone have any opinion on this? Chi-Chi. Sitting on the gravel mountain, Yibei said calmly. In the tone, there is no lack of a strong feeling. Although it is asking the pythons if they have any opinions, the meaning of this statement is that there is no discussion at all.
Yes.
Everything listens to the king.
Yes.
The boa constrictors who had improved their IQ with the finished evolution potion were so clever that they nodded immediately. As for the distribution of food, there have been battles here before, and the corpses of mutant beasts are everywhere. At that time, which snake is the first to be born, will be the first to swallow the prey. You are not allowed to mix up until all of the food can be swallowed. Yibei continued. Click. Okay. However, what surprised him was that when he had just finished speaking, a very slight click suddenly appeared. The voice is so small that if you don't listen carefully, you won't hear it at all. However, at the moment on the gravel mountainside, when this voice appeared, the bodies of all the pythons, including Yi-Bei, were taken aback. Huh. Then Yi-Bei immediately followed the sound source location. Those pythons also quickly wanted to feel through their bodies who the hatched young snake was born first. 3 seconds later. The result is sure. It turned out to be one of the 3 mutant reticulated pythons that had not been baptized by the finished evolution potion. That python is not very wise. After realizing that he had hatched, he looked at Yi-Bei with a bit of fear. Chi-Chi. There was a letter in his mouth, and his voice was still trembling. Wong, it's from my side. It seems to be about to break its shell. When the reticulated python spoke, Yi-Bei had actually locked the target. Under spiritual exploration, Yi-Bei could clearly see that a reticulated python egg was cracking. Click, click. This kind of sound is constantly transmitted from the eggshell. At the same time, a reticulated python about 15 centimeters in length is working hard. Hit the eggshell hard with your body. Such a scene. In the eyes of Yi-Bei, there is an inexplicable familiar feeling. Before, I also crawled out of snake eggs like this. I am so lucky to be able to evolve to this level so quickly. But, seriously speaking, I was given the spirit orb at the time, allowing me to complete the initial evolution. Where is that huge python from now? Chi-Chi, staring at the snake egg about to break its shell. Yi-Bei spit out Shinzi, muttering to himself. A new life is about to be born. Yi-Bei's heart is more of anticipation. 1 minute. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Yi-Beizu stared at the snake egg for 10 minutes. The scene was silent, and the other pythons did not dare to make any noises. Click. Finally, 10 minutes later, the snake egg broke completely, and a small snake covered with muddy liquid cautiously crawled out of it. But this little python is just a fuse. Click, click, click. After it crawled out of the snake egg, the whole rocky mountain in the shape of Hui began to make clicks and clicks. Dense. These snake eggs, as if under the traction of some kind of force, all started to crack. Wong. It seems that all pythons are about to hatch. All moving. Unbelievable. When I hatched, it was not like this at all. What's the matter? Wong 1, Chunhua Qyu, looking for pleasure. After the 9 pythons felt the movement under their bodies, they couldn't help it anymore, spit out the letter, and curiously said to Yi-Bei, of course, the excitement in the tone, getting stronger. Don't worry. Yi-Bei left such a sentence coldly. Chi. At the same time, that very imperceptible mental power spread from Yi-Bei's head. Huge mental power. When it spread, it was instantly divided into countless hair-like threads and quickly rushed towards the hatched young snakes. The snake that has just hatched has extremely weak mental power. Yi-Beiji controlled him almost instantly. Climb out of the snake den. Climb this gravel mountain. There is food underneath. You can devour it as much as you like. These words were passed on to these young snakes through mental power. However, in Yi-Bei's view, these are far from enough. Rustling. Chi. A large number of young snakes broke their shells, densely packed, making extremely dense sounds. When they crawled towards the food crazily, Yi-Bei said again, System, the finished evolving potion, use it on these young snakes. As long as there is a snake born, use it, you can't miss one. The 3 reticulated pythons that hatched eggs also use finished medicines, and they are also very good. Yes, host. The green mist constantly appeared out of thin air, rushing towards the snorts of the young snakes. But what surprised Yi-Bei was that when the finished evolution potions were absorbed by the young snakes, their behavior was completely beyond Yi-Bei's expectations, and even Yi-Bei was a little shocked.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.